Bucktown.
Damn, brother, you have become one violent dude.
Hey folks, man, this is Monk. We are back with another episode of Classics of Cinematics. And I'm joined as always with my co-host Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yeah, folks, so today we got a special one. We're going to be taking you down into the Blaxploitation era. And this film is going to be Bucktown from 1975. It's directed by Arthur Marks. And in this film, after his brother's death, Duke Johnson travels to a small southern town to organize his brother's funeral. During his stay, he decides to revive his brother's nightclub business. However, this venture quickly uncovers the thinly veiled racism and corruption that runs rampant in the town. Duke and his friend Aretha face demands for bribes and violence from the police. With the arrival of Duke's pal Roy, the situation only escalates. Yeah, man. This film has a crazy cast too, man. This is some OGs and legends. So starring in this film, we got Fred Williamson as our guy Duke, our main character. We've also got Pam Grier, who plays Aretha. We've also got Thalmus Rasulala.
Yeah, right?
Hope I spelled that right. He plays Roy, who's Duke's friend, who comes to town to help him with this corrupt town and these officers. We've also got Tyree Turner, I believe, who plays Steve. Carl Weathers pops up in this.
He plays Hambo.
Yeah. We've also got Art Lund as Chief Patterson. He's a corrupt chief in this town. And another character that stood out to me was Malik Farrakhan, who plays TJ.
Yeah, he was a creeper. Yeah. You know, the only other one that stood out to me also was Bernie Hamilton, played Harley. And this all he did was get drunk and get his ass whooped.
Yeah. That was my man Harley,
Poor
man.
guy.
Poor Harley. Yeah. We've also got Jim Bohan, who plays Cleet in this. So,
Cleet?
Yeah, you got to be a Southern Town officer. Cleet, you know, not to be confused with the Cletus.
It ain't for...
You know what's funny too, man? This dude who plays TJ, I swear that's he looks like my man Stack Jack, yo.
Oh, it's too early for this.
No, man. This is the kind of film this is, man. Yeah. This film is not gonna win no awards on any level, but it's a fun time, man. It's a fun film from the era, and I think it's a prime example of the kind of fun you can get up to in this Blaxploitation era. It's not at times it's so bad that it's good, but it's always entertaining, man. I love the flow of the story, which I think we should go ahead and get into, man. You know, our character here is coming to the town. It's interesting because if you watch Black Dynamite and you wonder, you know, that movie's a spoof on these kind of films, that story in Black Dynamite is directly lifted from this. We got the same thing set up. Our character comes into town trying to investigate the death of his brother, find out why his brother's dead. And in the course of that, he discovers this crazy wave of corruption in this town, man. And it kind of goes from there, man. But it's fun, man.
Well, you know, like you said, this film's definitely a product of its time, but that's why I love the films from the 70s, especially in the exploitation era, because they're so balls to the wall. They do bring awareness to certain things, and they do touch on things that were really relevant in the time, still relevant now when it comes to police corruption and injustice. And so they cover all these bases. But what I like about this one is, yes, we do get the trope of the outer towner coming to a town and wanting to, you know, right the wrongs. But where this one completely throws the curveball and changes the game is that the solution that he has for the problem ends up initially being worse or bad or just as bad, if not worse than the problem.
It's worse.
That they just got the solution for. And I think that's what really elevates this film in a genre where, you know, a lot of the movies kind of are similar.
We've seen this story before, though. You know, like a shitty town, someone's coming in to try to clean up things. But like you said, that twist makes this thing, elevates it way better than it had anything right to be. Because it's like, I called you to come help me out. You came and helped me out. And now you want to replace the same element that I was trying to get rid of.
Right.
And in the worst way.
And in the worst way. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because these guys, you know, what I also like too is that it kind of high points the fact that, you know, even though there is a lot of racial injustice that happens in this film, they take it a step further and say, you know, this is deeper than that, where, you know, greed, money, you know what I'm saying, can change anybody. When you get thrust into a position of power, what do you do with it? Spider-Man said it. great power comes great responsibility. And everybody who gets they slice of the pie is not going to be good with it.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? So
dude.
I like how it really hits on the intentions, you know, because my man, when he brings his homies in, he's like, look, you know, he keeps telling people, like when he talks to him, he's like, man, you really got bad, bro. Like after the war, man, you turned to the dark side kind of thing. Like you bad, you a bad man now kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's bringing high awareness to the fact that this dude is, you know, morally compromised. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I like that, man. I think that was really cool for them to infuse that.
Yeah. And it's funny because like it's a period of time that really doesn't exist anymore, and you know, this community is a regular working class community, but it does have some kind of downtown nightlife, what you might call a red light district in a way. And these things were common. I mean, back in the day, like, you know, I grew up in a place down south that had wasn't the whole district, but there was a spot you go to, you know, entertain some of these vices, whether it be drinking, gambling, you know, prostitution. And these were normal. Like normally it was fine as long as it happened here and things didn't get out of control. But this film shows you the corrupt side of it, whereas the law enforcement, instead of just being, okay, we're going to turn a blind eye to this to a certain degree, they're actually involved in it. Yeah. You know, they're actually the main crew that's running this thing. Like the businesses are paying tribute to the local sheriff and his legion of goon police, you know, keeping this town, keeping them under their thumb.
Yeah, and it's just another form of extortion where when we get it from like the mob side, we take it to New York, it's the mob. The mob are the ones that are the ones that are pushing the extortion when it comes to this time frame. But yeah, with this, it high points that when you get more down south, it was the local sheriffs and stuff, the police department that could be in the position to extort and kind of put everybody around them in the squeeze, and they're doing it. Yeah,
and they're doing it, and there seems to be an established norms. You know, you can see some of the interactions with the town folks, even the way the police press some of the businesses. You got that? You got that for me? But apparently, Duke's brother tried to stand up to the corruption and he ended up getting killed by these guys. And that's why he's in town. And in the course of just going to the funeral and meeting some acquaintances at the funeral, they tell him the rundown, what's going on with the town, who's responsible, and why his brother got mixed up in this. But yeah, it goes from there, man. Like he peels the layers back. He invites his guys in to get rid of the element, and my guy takes over, man. I think we can get into some of that when we get into these characters, man.
Absolutely.
I guess we're gonna start with Duke. You know, who's our main guy? He's coming in, his brother. I don't know what his background fully is. Was he military too?
Military.
I mean, there we go.
Around this time, he always is fresh off a tour from Nam. You know what I'm saying? He's got Nam experience.
Yeah, he's coming out of Nam, you know, and he's a no-nonsense guy, apparently. And like he's, like you said, he's walking that line. Like he has a moral fiber that won't let him do necessarily what the sheriff's doing, but he's also down to run a drink house, you know, maybe dabbling some, you know, running alcohol and stuff like that, you know, numbers, you know what I'm saying, gambling, maybe even some prostitution. It's not belong. He'll dabble, but he's not a bad guy in that world, so to speak. You know, so and he's cool, man. He's smooth, suave. You know, as Fred Williamson at the time, he was a big actor. You know, helped get these films and make these films viable at the time and
wasn't
make them
this
profitable.
One of the ones that kind of like set the trend, like pushed the way for him for what he brought to it?
Yeah, it pushed. It's not one of the first because I think they started coming out. You know, there were films I think as early as 70, 71, 72, 73. There were some big hitters, but this was also a big one. And like you said, it kind of made this whole era just way more viable and introduced these stars. I think Pam Grier was getting more of her solo stuff later. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, but this role, you could easily see how her role could have been something small, but they boosted it up because it was her.
Well, yeah, I mean, because even where, you know, the critics were trying to bag this a little bit for the story and stuff, they did high point the fact that it was stellar acting from Williamson and Pam Grier. What I like about Fred Williamson's character is he's like a no mask vigilante, like in the daylight. Like you said, he walks his walk, he talks his talk, and he does have his moral compass intact, but he's down to get dirty when he has to. And that's also, I feel like, a product of the time. Yeah. But, you know, he's a match your energy kind of guy. Like when he goes into the police station and the head cop is like, oh yeah, you're kind of disrespectful. He was like, man, if you give it, I'm gonna give it back just how you give it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. So when this film came out, this is 75, right? So this film was actually more of, we got some all-stars, right? Blaxploitation all-stars getting together because Pam Grier her first films were like 71, so she'd already been established.
Yeah.
Coffee was 73, Foxy Brown 74 the year before. So and Fred, he's been doing work.
Yeah, like Black Caesar
and Thalmus had a few hits as well. So you got like this is like the Super Friends getting the Justice League coming together to make this film.
I think the only one who was kind of newer to the table was Carl Weathers.
Yeah, and he wasn't nobody at then. I think he had just left the Raiders.
Yeah. and this was before Rocky. This was before Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
So, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, and this did have. I mean, I don't know what the average budget was, but this one did have a $600,000 budget, and it did pull numbers. It had great production as far as distribution and stuff, like especially in the North. You know what I'm saying? It was getting high pointed and pushed heavy in the theaters. So it did turn numbers. And you can tell by this cast, I mean, like I said, with Williamson, and also, you know, any opportunity I'm given to talk about Pam Grier and how awesome she is. You know, she is great in this. I think we were talking about this earlier, and all of her films, she embodies beauty, right? But in this one, she was looking radiant, like I mean, just magnificent on screen, from the outfits to the look. I mean, the camera angles, everything. You know,
the camera was loving her.
It was loving her, and she was loving it back. And I was loving to watch this film because of that. I mean, dude, you know what happens when you spell Pam backwards?
What?
You get Matt. That's how she knew the way right to my heart.
Y'all gotta write in and discourage him, man.
No, I'm just fooling. But no,
what do they do, Fat Joe and Jadakiss? They throw the towel. Oh my God.
But she was great. I mean, she did present herself well, and I love how like her character arc, like this was a step away from what I was used to. Like when you see her in films like Coffee, where she is like front and center, she's more of that badass.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's not that she was helpless, but she knew who the person was that was going to come to save the day.
It's funny because I feel like most films would have made her helpless, but she's actually the one that's holding everyone accountable, holding the good guys accountable at least. Like she's in Fred's face all the time. He just gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
Like
you just come out of town with your big city attitude.
She's off the top. She just ripped. Oh, so now that you gonna just collect his belongings and leave?
Yes. Like we're saying, the only one she's nice to is Harley, because the only thing he's good at is getting drunk and getting beat up. So he needs a friend. Everyone else needs advice.
Man, Harley is like I can't describe him. I don't know what the name is for this role, but he's the type of person that the bar keeps around because he gets it lit.
Yeah.
You know, he gonna get everybody drinking. Yeah. He gonna be telling some jokes. He might dance when his favorite song comes on the jukebox. And he really normally he don't hurt nobody. He might get a little too wild, but you know,
but he gets a pass.
He's harmless.
He gets a pass because he has prowess too, because he was an ex-professional football player. So his stories probably have some.
He probably got some CTE too. That's probably.
Like, you know. But then also, you know, this movie, I like this film because it does offer us two big bads. Like we get it's like if anyone who plays spades, you get the big Joker, the little Joker. So I would say the little Joker is played by Art Lund, who is the first initial police chief, the racist guy. We hate him because he's racist and everything that's bad about that. It's just like, what are you doing? He's been doing it for God knows how long. And you know what though? Like as racist and shitty as he is, he still has a bit of fairness. Like I believe his brothers got killed by his goons going too far. It wasn't like he wanted this guy dead, but they were just doing too much while they were working under him. Sort of like what happens with Roy's guys later. It seems like the deputies are very much more problematic. They're the ones that don't know how to handle the power going from whatever it was before to being thrust in this position of power. They're executing his orders, but they have no supervisors. They're just winging it. And however they feel, their girlfriend shitted on them that day, then you might get it worse, you know, when you encounter them, you know? Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, on that note, we got Thalmus Rasulala, and he plays Roy. I mean, that's close enough. I don't know. That's better than I would have did it. My man got a wild name, bro. Made me think of the G.I. Joe movie. But my man Roy, shout out to Roy, because he is the big bad in this, and he is a bad ass. I mean, you know, he's definitely when he gets his taste of power, he buffet lines. He's like, no, I want this and I want more and more and more. And then like the way he puts people in the squeeze, like he knows that, you know, this is going against what Fred, I'm sorry, I keep wanting to call him Fred. That's his real name. What Duke wants to happen in Bucktown. She's trying to turn Bucktown back around. And, you know, Roy is like, nah, this is a cash cow. You know what I'm saying?
He sees it.
He's looking at it like a winning lottery ticket. He's like, man, you know, wherever, we was already getting dirty before, but now we can get dirty and get away with it. And highly profit in a small town where we fly under the radar and win. Are you kidding? Yeah, and then he's like, bro, we ain't got no ties to nobody here. We ain't from here. So they can all be
they don't know. The craziest thing is, I love the scene where he gets off the train and first gets into town with his boy, and there's like one of the cops sitting there, and they just totally disrespect this dude. It's like, yo, hold up, wait. This don't feel like it's the 70s. This is crazy. No. The way they talking to this dude and just you know, leaning on him and poking him. And but you're right. He's, as soon as you see him, he just has this self-assuredness, this authority, confidence. Like he looks like the boss. He looks like the leader.
And I love it because, you know, in these films, you always get like a little rhyme. And when Duke confronts him, he's like, look, man, this ain't going to keep happening. You know, and Roy's like, no, it's always been this way. Long as the dice keep rolling, the hoes keep hoeing, and the money keep flowing. Yeah, Jack. And I was like, my man, that's how you know you hit boss level. When you can spit a bar and be like, and do something.
He's crazy, man. He's
shout
cool,
out
man.
Thalmus,
but he does have a goon that stands out, man. TJ, played by Malik Farrakhan and Stack Jack. And his presence is crazy because as soon as you see him, like he just has this sliminess about him, especially the craziest part, like the interactions he's got with Pam Grier. Yeah. Because Fred, when they meet Fred, clearly this is my woman. Right. And my man is going at her right in front of him, just like to the point where she gets up and like smacks him. It's like, you monster. Yeah, right. And I'm like, and Fred just gives him an eye like, yo, bro. Like, but then later on, things get even crazier. But yeah, I like that there's different personality types. He definitely stands out, man. He gives me Starscream vibes because one of the things it's like the sheriff, like the sheriff's guys are out there doing whatever, and that's what ends up happening with Roy's guys, led by him mostly. They're out there taking over this town, but they're also going above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Doing more than what's ordered of them, and also taking liberties with their power and authority and position.
I mean, and just to keep it on a Transformer Decepticon reference, my man Hambone is like Soundwave because he's the enforcer. He's the one out there laying everybody down, beating people with belts. You know, watching. He don't say much. He don't say much. He watches TJ try to perv out on Pam. He gonna sit there and let it happen if it's gonna happen. Like he is a straight. He is the aggressor in the situation. He come in the room when it's time for violence. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, what else? What else? He didn't really have to do much else.
But trope alert, the little kid to know everything. And this film's short round. My man Stevie played by Tyree Turner. So apparently he acted a bit more after this, becoming a stuntman. Got like over 40 film credits with stunts, and he's still doing film work today. So I think he's either a coordinator, like 911. He's on that show now. I think he's become a stunt coordinator. But in this film, he plays a kid, Steve, who knows everything. And it's funny, like soon as when Duke gets off the train, Steve is like, yo, what you need, man? You need some liquor, some booze, some ladies. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what he said about the one woman, man. She's like, yeah, she'll ride you. And she like,
make him won't leave or something. My man Duke says, you also know where to get penicillin?
It's like, what you know about that little man? Yeah, great character, man. He pops up throughout this thing and proves helpful, man. Like, you know, but you know what I like too, though? He has the same greeting with Roy's boys when they get on the train. Yep. But it's different. He has a sense, like this kid is young, but he's smart, intuitive, and he's just, without just that little bit of time he spent with them, he knows these guys are up to no good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's definitely like an ear to the streets kind of guy. The kind of person that, you know, you want to have around, like the canary. Like, just knows
canary,
everything.
The coal mine and the and he almost like a what they call him now, fancy word, concierge. He knows where, like, you go into the whole, yo, what can I do? What's that? Yeah. He knows everything. Yeah. You know?
And, like, he's not somebody that, I mean, he's somebody you want to have around you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Might not keep him around you all the time because he'll tell your business too, but you need to find some stuff out. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, my man's like all of, like, I don't know, 9, and he's pushing a dirt bike around.
You know what's funny though? I don't think he turned that bike on, when that scene where he shows, I think he just pushed it,
Yeah,
and then you hear
bigger than him.
but you hear the sound they added in the background. It's like,
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
this thing will lift my man off his shoes, man.
It's like that joint ain't even on, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It was funny, but hey, it's movie magic, man.
It is
He probably
movie
wasn't
magic.
even cleared to ride that thing, man,
And
for
you
a
know,
movie. You
another thing
you
that
got child labor laws.
You know what I mean? For real. And another thing that kind of felt like a character in itself for me was the setting. I really liked this area that they had us in because you can tell it's got that southern vibe. I don't know exactly where Bucktown is. They might have said it might have been like Alabama or something. It's some pocket town, but they give us this sense of where, you know, where it's secluded, but then where they do want to present their nightlife, they do have it. It's kind of lit up. It looks like a B-rate, like Vegas Strip almost. You got the lights, you got the, you know, the people are out. Everybody's doing what they want to be doing as far as whether it's legal, illegal, or whatever. But
you know what? There is one point though where they say in this thing, I said the county or the city of Buchanan, and I think Buchanan, maybe Bucktown was just a nickname for Buchanan, you know, but it does when I looked it up, they don't really ever say where the city is, but it was filming locations were Kansas City, Missouri, Leavenworth, Kansas, and Plate City, Missouri. Okay. This is where this thing was filmed.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But yeah, like you said, all this stuff that's going on out there, because even when you go to the part where you're looking at Duke's house, it looks like a regular suburban neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then downtown has this more urban vibe, you know, it's swinging, and you know, and maybe like I said, maybe this is the part of the town where it's more salacious activities are going on, you know.
Exactly.
And then when you get into like, I think the action is worth talking about in this thing, because dude, this thing has a high body count, bro.
Yes,
like,
it does.
And everyone's weapon of choice is these guns, bro. And they just unloading like life is cheap here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the only dude I think, like when you see people get beat up, it's bad. But it's like, dang, it could be a lot worse. They could be dead because
everybody's strapped up.
They beat the hell out of they beat Harley up 2 times.
Ain't stabbed him, cut him up with multiple switchblades.
I feel bad for him.
Another thing I love about movies from this era is everyone is a ninja. When it is time to fight, it is time to kung fu fight. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, see, they didn't really kung fu.
They kung fu. Roy and Duke kung fu for like 15 minutes.
I didn't think that was a lot of kung fu. It was some weird blows, but it wasn't like. It felt more old school fighting to me. But it had
a little bit of UFC in there, a little bit of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I would say that.
My man hit him with the leg.
There was some grappling and wrestling. But it was really like a knockout because I liked that. Because at first they came with the guns. And then it was like, yo, let's square up.
Shoot the fair one.
Put his gun. And my man put his gun down. I was like, yo. And they just started going, and you're right. They was fighting for a long time.
Fighting for a nice little minute.
That was a highlight of this joint.
Cars.
Yeah, because it was a highlight. But the gunplay is crazy, man. I remember the one scene that gets me is after Roy and it's after Duke and Aretha. You know, they had their little night together. And then the sheriff's goons come to shoot up the house, right?
Yeah.
Yo, how did they shoot 40 rounds? From 2 shotguns. One was a double barrel.
Every window in the house exploded, even the ones they weren't hitting.
But a double barrel only holds 2 shots at a time. Yeah. And even the pump that the other guy had, you might could get 5 in there.
Maybe.
Dude, they shot like 40 rounds into this house. I was counting.
Never once reloaded. Yeah, that's that movie magic, man. It gets buck in Bucktown. You don't even need to reload, bro. Just keep pulling the trigger.
It was crazy. They must have got the extended mag on Call of Duty. But it was wild, man. But then the other thing, like it stands out, man. This thing is budgeted, but they stretch it because then later on we get a scene with the little man knows where the armory is now. All of a sudden, my man Steve puts Duke on. So Duke, he goes get the armored APC, the armored personnel carrier. Yo, that scene is crazy. So he's driving down the street. All of a sudden, you just see this goon come out with the long, I don't know what that was. It was a Pontiac, something, yo, and he clips that joint, yo, and the whole thing blows up, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
a lot of
dude.
Explosions. And it's funny because, like, as you watch this, it's like hindsight's always 20/20 because Duke comes in there and he's like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and overthrow all this corruption, but I need a team to help me do it. And then the team takes over, helps him out, takes over with the corruption, but then he takes out that team who's supposed to be worse than the first team by himself. So initially, what does that show him? Just believe in you, Duke. You could have did it by yourself the first time.
Yeah, he probably could have did this whole thing.
See what I'm saying?
It probably would have took longer, but he probably
and then he would have still had his friends intact, and he could have used that lifeline if a later incident happens and he needs a muscle at a later time. You know what I mean? He ain't have to pull that card. You could have did it, Duke. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, it probably, like I said, it probably would have took a little bit longer and a little more strategy, but yeah, man.
But he has the know-how. He's been the Nam. You know what I'm saying? He tells everybody with a pair of ears about that. Also, you know what I love about this? I love the soundtrack. It was groovy as shit. The whole way
Who did the
through.
music on this?
It was Johnny Pate. Johnny Pate did the score, and I mean, like every time you break into a fight, you don't know if you want to fight or dance. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and I love the end song because the end song tells you everything you need to know. So when my man starts singing, the first thing he says is everything's gonna be all right in Bucktown.
Yo, dude, when that line comes on,
it's all right in Bucktown.
I was like, yo. I was like, man, I might have to sample this or something. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's all right.
Crazy.
I love that. I listened to that twice this morning before I left the house. Just so I knew. Just so I knew. I wanted to reconfirm it's all right.
I wonder if he did any more soundtracks, man, because that's crazy, dude.
I don't know. I mean,
hold up. He scored soundtracks for more films. He did Shaft in Africa, Bucktown, Satan's Triangle, Dr. Black, Mr. Hyde, Sudden Death. Sudden Death, that's Eastwood, I think, and Every Girl Should Have One.
Sudden Death. There's a Van Damme joint called Sudden Death. I think that's the one where.
Oh, never mind. This is 77, 80.
Oh, okay, that's not the Van.
Starring Robert Conrad, Thayer David. Oh, yeah, I haven't seen this one. Oh, I'm thinking of Sudden Impact. That's the Eastwood.
That's Eastwood. And then Sudden Death is Van Damme when they try to blow up the hockey rink.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I like that one. No. Dang. Nah, that's what's up. But yeah, man, overall, this is a fun thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
It's not one of these ones, like I said, it's going to win the Oscars, but this was prime, Saturday afternoon VHS fare or I think channels were showing this film at times, playing this movie late night or whatever on the weekends. I
mean, and if you're a fan of the genre, you can't not be a fan of this one. I mean, I love the exploitation films. They carry a certain energy, and I love the raw grittiness of it when it comes to the film stock, the choppy acting, the speaking in like, what is it, like in puns almost?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Everything,
simple stories. The dialogue is janky, is cliche, me
versus the man. I love all that stuff that it brings. And this one, it has such a cool concept. And they did try to, it's not remake this. I mean, this is, like you said, this is an oversaturated concept. But Fred Williamson said himself that he drew heavy inspiration from this film when he brought out original Gangsters that came out in 93, which also starred himself, Pam Grier, Jim Brown, and then you had some of the younger cast. I think that was when Shaheem first appeared.
Remember,
You know what I'm saying? So, and I rewatched that too after I watched this. It just came on right after Tubi, which this is free streaming on Tubi for the free $9.99. And if you look this one up, then it'll show you a laundry list of more exploitation films if you want to dive down that well. Like I watched this week. I watched TNT Jackson this week.
I still haven't seen that one.
Oh man, that was dope. She's running around in her drawers doing kung fu. Like it's crazy. It was crazy for like 5 minutes, dog. I was like, what's going on here? Hey, man, I didn't make the movie. I just watched it.
I feel you, man. I feel you, too. Oh, my God. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is just a good time, man.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, right? It's not really a whole lot to say about it. I'm not going to beat you in the head and hold you. We're not going to hold you.
Yeah, exactly.
Go check out Bucktown, man. Kick your feet up, pour you a stiff one and have a good time.
What else need to be said?
Yeah, we're going to be back soon, folks, man, with another one. This has been Classes of Cinematics. Check us out on Instagram at Classes of Cinematics. Check us out on TikTok. We're on there as Classes of Cinematics. And you catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
And this is Bobby Blockbuster. As always, you can catch me on the next show.
All right, man. Peace.